Okay, so I'm gonna wing this and do it in hopefully one take here. But this is how to, at least how I create one measure sub click cues in Ableton. And by that I mean I can hit this master start cue button here, and all these will fire off one measure at a time. So I'm gonna go ahead and do an example. You probably can't hear the audio, but as you can see, while it's playing this cue, it is triggering and setting up the next cue for me. So I'll just go ahead and stop that. So for example, I have this cue here. I want to be able to, it's got 4 layers on it. It's got click track, my machine, it's got a kick, it's got some narrator stuff, and it's got this stutter effect that I wrote. So first things first is we're gonna insert in a bunch of scenes, and the way I'm doing this is I'm just using Control I or Command I on the Mac. I'm on a PC. So we need about 34 of these, I think. So I'll just go and create a bunch of these. So 90 plus 34 is 124. So we'll just go down to about here and we can delete the extra layers. So next thing, I'm going to select these across my scenes. Not my scenes, but my columns. And then I'm going to drag them over to here. And I've kind of got them already dragged in here, but I'm going to go ahead and overwrite these. And let's just go ahead and scroll on the timeline. So basically what I did is I dragged them from what I call the column view over to the timeline view. So as you can see here, I've already set my tempo to match that of the cue, which is 133 beats per minute. And basically what will happen is as long as you have not warped these, this one actually needs to be unwarped. Everything will line up, and you should be able to very easily then go. Basically, I'm going to turn these all on so that you guys can see this better. But basically, right now, I've got everything kind of broken down across these 4 things. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here a little bit to where I could just see one measure, and where my mouse will, or my arrow key will only move one measure at a time. So like right now, it's half measures. So if I scroll even further, let me go ahead and stop that. So basically what I want to do now is I want to break this down really easily and really fast into one measure increments. So let me just double check that I've got the right scale here. Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and click here, click down my track, and then I'm going to hit split, which is Command E on the Mac or Control E on Windows. And then I'm just going to basically go along here and just make my way along and just basically so forth and so forth. So you would keep doing this until you got to the end of it. I'm not going to do it for the full thing. I'm just going to do it as kind of a quick demo. Now, what you can do then is you can take all these, highlight, select them by hitting Shift, pressing, and doing a mask select however you want. And here's the really cool trick. So you don't have to drag these back individually. You can take these, drag them back over to your columns view, stick them right here on those new scenes that you've just created, and they're inserted. So how are we going to get these to, trigger off of each other? So what we're going to use is this thing called follow actions. So basically what you say is we're going to select these ones and not that first cue. We're going to click on our follow actions. And what should happen is when I hit play, as you can see, what it's done is it's defaulted it to one measure. And what will happen is basically when I click off this cue right here, it'll basically do a 4 count off of the next cue. Ableton Live 11 added this kind of cool new column over here with this where you can put in like a tempo and you can put in a meter. Really super helpful because I used to have to do things like, let me go ahead and rename this to like BPM, or like I'd do like 133 BPM, and then it would just be smart enough to read that label and it would put it in there. But now there's explicit fields, so it feels a little less hacky. Super nice. So like each of these are basically one measure of 4/4, which is my tempo and my meter. So now when I click these, really quickly and easily, they will keep queuing up and they'll go from one cue to the next automatically. Same rules apply for stopping across the board. But yeah, it's like that. That's how you would do it really quickly and easily. You don't have to spend a lot of time in audio editor, splicing them up, renaming them. This just handles all the splicing and then pasting in for you really nicely. And then you can just go through and basically say, okay, well, this is 578, so this one's 579, so I'll just rename that to 579. So yeah, that's how I do it. It's pretty quick and painless. I know some people like to do this in their DAW, but I don't use this DAW traditionally. This is my kind of like my final stage DAW for getting things wrapped up and edited. So yeah, it's just my workflow for it. I hope this was helpful in some way. Thanks for watching, I guess.